All right, here's an update on the 1976 Harley Davidson XLH Bicentennial bike. You saw the last video was just basically the introduction to the bike. I bought this bike very locally, and it's not running, and I'm not really clear what the issue was from what the seller said, and he got it from another guy. But I found out what part of the problem is, at least so far, and that is on the electric start, because there is no kickstart on these bikes. The electric starter, which is mounts in here, when I pulled the starter apart, the leads from the brushes, if you understand a motor, it has it has a rotor in there that's made with copper, and the brushes were not installed correctly. Some of them were not. It's difficult to explain, and the terminals for the two leads that actually solder to the block or to the terminal pole, they were separated. So there's no way the starter would work. So I took it all apart. I cleaned it really well inside. It was totally oiled up and greasy. It was in really bad shape. So I cleaned the armature. I cleaned the cases. I cleaned the brushes. Got the brushes fit correctly, and I resoldered. There's these two large copper terminals that were separated. They weren't even together. So I got those soldered back onto the terminal block, to the outside of the starter, and I've tested it, and it works great. It's a Hitachi starter. But there's a couple of parts that were missing. It was missing, unless it's inside the primary cover, and I'm going to have to take the primary cover off. There was a thrush washer between the starter engagement, and you can see it there with the bearing pilot hole back there. In between that, the pilot bearing there, and the shaft that goes into it, there's a thrust washer. Well, that was gone. So I had to order that. Ironically, it just showed up today. But I got to go in here and clean all this gunk up, all the grease. The camera doesn't really show it well. It's heavily greased back in there. So I need to clean that all up and put the starter back on it, put the starter solenoid back in it. It was also missing the separation block on the starter solenoid between the outer housing and the starter solenoid. There should be like a 1/4 inch little terminal block, little spacer. I bought one of those because it didn't have one. And I also bought a rebuild kit for this Bendix carburetor, because I'm going to try to use that carburetor. So I got to clean that before we do it, try to just make sure that it has a reasonably good chance of running with the rebuilt carburetor. And then I'll be putting it back together and I've cleaned all the other parts up. So I've cleaned the battery box. I've cleaned all the other components that are close to it. A lot of these dampeners, they were broken or wore off. You can see one here where the dampener's been just sheared off. There's another one over here that's been sheared off, and that holds the battery box on, and partially the oil tank. So once I get that put back together, now I think I have the parts to do it. I'll be making a better video on this, so hopefully it'll be a will it run. I haven't really gone through the electrical wiring to see what's needed to be done with that. There's just a slew of issues with the wiring. It does still have the original fuses. This went to the rear fender. I'll probably take the rear fender off. And you can see here, these are the two. One of these would be for the starter side, and this one would be for this high beam, low beam. So this would be for, this switch would be for the clutch side, which got the high beam, the horn, and then the turning indicators. So I have to go through that and see what I got where I can replace that. Haven't really looked at it that close. I think I do have some handle grips and stuff that's got the controllers that I can use. And I also did buy an original voltage regulator. So that's coming. And the coil needs to be remounted. I bought the correct mount for the coil, or not for the coil, I have that. But for the engine upper mount, I've got that. I've actually bought the horn that goes there, so I'll have that. Probably won't get that far. The next step is just to see will it run and how it runs, and then we can go from there. So anyway, this is part 2 of the 1976 Harley Davidson Bicentennial Sportster. Cool old bike. Oh, and I bought a seat. I found an original seat on eBay, so I bought that. And there's a couple other parts that I bought on eBay that I needed. I also bought new front fork tubes for it, because that one was really bad. And I have to take that brake assembly apart, see what's going on with that, see if it's hung up or whatever. It seemed hard to push, so I'm thinking that that's probably what's holding it. So, but anyhow, let's get this thing running and see how it does. Here again, the thing about this bike, it was claimed and by title that it's only got like 2,300 miles on it. So let's find out. So thanks for watching. Here again, this is a 1976 Harley Davidson XLH Bicentennial, and this is part 2. So thanks for watching. Hang in there. We're going to go step by step through this bike and see what we can do to bring it back to life and make it proud to be a 76 Bicentennial bike. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Bye.